There's a tone you use. Because they're going to come in and say, when people come visit you in jail, when you've made bail, they come in, they check you out, and then they ask what happened. And now you got to tell them a story, and they start crying, and you start crying, and then they're trying to tell you how they're trying to put money together, or, whatever. But the way he cleared the story, the way he cleared the air, and he goes, can you get me out? Can you do that for me? Can you do that for me? That was just perfect.
Well, you know what? He was perfect casting, because stepping into McQueen's shoes, redoing that. For those of us that saw the original Getaway, I used to argue about sequels because I thought, why the hell are they making this movie? I've seen this a million times, but I forget about the fact there's younger generations that don't see what we see. But as far as Steve is concerned, he walked into the house. He said, hi, how are you? We chatted for a bit. He said, you're always welcome here. Just call first. And he would give a party when he first moved into the house. And what he did was he would take little $5 and $10 bills and $1 bills, and he'd stick them underneath things throughout the house. And he'd sit back, and anybody that bothered to take the dollar bill, he would never invite back to his house. He didn't trust anybody. And he was just a wild character. He'd come down on the beach with a 6-pack of beer and tell us stories. And I remember when he did the Towering Inferno, and I said, hey, should I go see it? Is it good? He goes, no, I just did it for the money. Don't waste your money on that film. It's like he was just...
I went to see that in the movie.
It was... It's dated now, but it was fun.
I had like an all-star cast.
Well, it was back in the days of the disaster movies, Airplane, and then... Not
Started
Airplane,
with
the comedy.
Poseidon Adventure.
Poseidon Adventure, yeah.
Started with Poseidon Adventure, then the one that shook. They did a fake earthquake movie. Earthquake, yeah. And then there was 3D in the movie theater, so the speakers are so loud, people would come out and, oh my God, it shook, get the fuck out of here. The fucking speakers were loud, you dummy. These fucking moments. There was no fucking like HD, nothing. They just put the fucking thing to 20, and everybody in the movie theater was like, oh my God, it shook. Didn't shake.
I'll tell you another thing about Steve, not just, we can get off him in a second, but he was a very tough guy.
Right.
Bruce Lee would come over and train him. I never got a chance to meet Bruce. I met him after that thing, but he still has the plaque. Chad still has the plaque that Bruce Lee awarded him a ranking in Jeet Kune Do, and it's probably... Steve McQueen stuff is going for ridiculous money right now. I'll give you an example. Let me not get too far ahead of myself. He would have Chuck Norris come over. And Chuck Norris, and he'd either go train with Chuck at his dojo, or Chuck would train at the house. And Steve would spar. He would get in there and get nasty. They wasn't like casual EPOM point sparring. They would spar. Because I used to train with Pat Johnson, who did all the choreography for Live and Die in L.A. and Mutant Ninja Turtles and all that.
Excuse me. Another movie that they've been playing lately.
Which one?
To Live and Die in L.A.
It's a good movie.
At 7 o'clock every night. To Live and Die in L.A. Tremendous movie.
Tremendous movie.
Listen, guys, Uncle Joey isn't a fucking joke thief. But if he hears something that's brilliant, he drops it. There's a scene, again, John Turturro is the smuggler for the money. Who's the fucking printer? To Live and Die in L.A.
Willem Dafoe.
To Live and Die in L.A. is one of the greatest fucking stories ever told that America. If they should remake a movie, that's a movie that needs to be ranked. The only problem is they'll fuck it up. They'll fuck it up like they fucked up the mechanic. They took away the patois from the mechanic. Charles Bronson was a 51-year-old hitman. That was the patois. There was nothing to blow up. He was killing you the old-fashioned way. He would go in your files and see if you had a heart problem. And then he'd light the house on fire, so you had to run out in the middle of the night. You'd die of a heart attack. Stupid shit. You understand me? They fucked it up. But To Live and Die in L.A. is about counterfeiting. You ever see a movie about counterfeiting, Lee?
No.
Never. They don't even make them because the government don't have a fucking shit. But these motherfuckers put together a movie with, who's the printer?
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe. And the guy from CSI, the original guy, is the cop. And he's amazing.
And he was also in the first Hannibal Lecter film called Manhunt.
Yeah. And he's also in Thief with James Caan
at
the bar. He's the one that grabs James Caan, and James Caan shows him his gun. And he backs off. Who do you fucking think you're dealing with?
He's probably the most bow-legged actor in Hollywood.
The bow-legged motherfucker. And then To Live and Die in L.A., he's very bow-legged.
He's fast, though.
He's fast as shit. It's about counterfeiting. Fucking tremendous. The music is tremendous.
And good. It's sexy, too.
Sexy as shit. I'm telling you, it's been on, I don't know what station it's been on, but me and my wife watched it, and I taped it and watched it one night, and I go, how many times am I going to watch it?
Just do a search, everybody. Do a search and watch this movie. It's
John Turturro, when he comes to visit him in jail, as he's leaving, he goes, I'll try to get you out. And he goes, yeah. Hey, don't forget about me. That's why I get that line from him. He goes, "Don't forget about me." He goes, "Don't forget about me." He goes, "I'm going to get you out again. I promise not to come in your mouth." Fucking tremendous couple. John Turturro was another great one.
And Willem Dafoe
And Willem Dafoe
menacing as the bad guy.
Tremendous.
So on the thing with Steve, though, aside from all his enjoyment of martial arts and stuff like that, and that's partially the reason I got into Tang Soo Do, which was Chuck Norris's first fighting style out of the Air Force in Korea. Was due to that, the emphasis I got back then, because Tang Soo Do was a big thing back in Malibu. There was a lot of martial arts back in Malibu. All we did was surf, do martial arts, spar, and fight. We had a great time. And another F word that I don't want to say, I'll let you say it.
Fuck.
Yeah. So Steve had tons of motorcycles and cars, and it would blow you away. And when he passed away, the family, Chad, they sold it off to pay a lot of the estate taxes. And I'm talking when he had an airplane hangar in Santa Paula with over 100 motorcycles, 2 double-winged airplanes, toys and artifacts. And I'm a big collector of memorabilia. Toys and artifacts from Buck Rogers, you name it. Anyway, they sold off a bunch. They got like $15 million back then. Now they're selling his stuff, and it's going for ridiculous prices. In the movie he made, the race movie, it's escaping my mind right now. Le Mans, which he put a lot of his own money into. It almost broke him. But the fire suit he wore underneath the racing suit just sold for $800,000. The watch he wore, which is Tag Heuer, just sold for $850,000. Right now, they're selling his 1967 Ferrari 275 GTV. They expect to go for $8 to $12 million because it belonged to him. They just sold another Ferrari that sold for $6 or $7 million. The actual value on the Ferrari was only around $2, give or take. But because it belonged to Steve McQUEEN and the provenance that went with it, it's going for ridiculous money. His glasses in the Thomas Crown affair, the blue Persols that he wore, which Persol made a Steve McQUEEN model of. You can buy in the Persol store today.
Damn!
Sold for $35,000 in a recent auction, right here in L.A. It wasn't by Chad. It was by his ex-wife who put up the stuff, named Barbara Minty, the last wife he was with when he passed away. But nobody knows this. I know this, and Chad knows this. When you walked in his house, there was a wicker basket beside the front door. There were 12 pairs of sunglasses. They were all the same in there. So they were not the original glasses that were in the Thomas Crown affair, as far as Chad and I could figure out. But somebody still paid $35,000 for the sunglasses because he wore them. It's crazy. So, it's just amazing. Memorabilia is a big thing.
Nobody in this country really, right now, remembers Steve McQUEEN.
If you're 40 and under...
And they give him the respect, unless you're a fucking movie buff or a tough guy buff. And when I came from Cuba, it was Charles Bronson, Steve McQUEEN, and James Coburn. Clint Eastwood was starting to bust in the scene, but those are the first 3 gangsters I remember. I remember the Valachi Papers. Mm-hmm. That's the first Charles Bronson movie I seen. Then I saw right away Death Wish. Then he started, after that.
Remember one of his first films was Vincent Price called House of Wax.
I don't remember that.
House of Wax.
I don't remember that. I was too young.
They remade it, but it was the original.
And then...
look who died last week, one of the greats, James Garner.
James Garner, yeah.
Yeah. Fabulous.
We're going in like fucking Marines, you understand me?
Welcome to church, motherfucker.